And we just want to talk about the real issues. Oops, go ahead.
All right. So I'm just waiting for it to go live on YouTube, and then so I can pause it, because otherwise it like makes it sound like I'm echoing.
Yeah, it looks like you're live right now. Welcome to obsolete number 17,000.
It says live on my end.
All right, good.
Globe scam versus flat Earth.
Yeah, flat Earth versus globe scam. So what's been happening lately is that, whenever I go into a room, any hangout, it doesn't matter, I'm being asked about flat Earth, like, hey, how's the flat Earth rose, or, random little stuff like that. And I think it's just ridiculous. I never go into a hangout and actually bring up flat Earth. It's always brought up to me, And so I feel like I have to have a need to talk about it, because everybody's always talking about it. And not just that, but I think it's really important. I think it's a crime against humanity for people to believe we're on a globe. We're on a spinning ball going 1,000 miles an hour, floating through space. But the constellations never change. It's always the same. Nothing ever changes. It's always the sun rising in the east, setting in the west. It's always the same. How is that possible if we're floating through space? Why do we not see other stars? We're being lied to, people, and why are they lying to us? I think that's a good question, and why are they keeping us from the truth? So I'm going to go over these issues. I got a couple of links I'm going to show everybody. So let's get to it. All right, I want to welcome everybody who's on the panel, Pillbox, Neo, and Prodigal.
I wanted to tell you something interesting, that most of the pirate websites that you may go to use undersea routers, meaning that they have to accommodate for some kind of, undersea ridges underneath the sea to figure out how much cable length they need to run these things between countries. So unfortunately, a lot of terrorist organizations get a hold of these undersea routers and infiltrate networks that are very secure. But these things do exist. They have found them. Undersea routers that continuously go across countries undersea with cable lines. As rudimentary as that sounds, it works. It's crazy.
No, thank you. What's your position on flat Earth or globe? If you don't mind, Neo, stating your position.
Of course, everybody was taught globe when they grew up, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody here, I could imagine.
Well, yeah, they get us when we're young, right?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I just, it's not that it's not important, because it is. It's that it's just not something right now that I'm wanting to concentrate so much energy on, because I'm trying to finish college in my last year. I'm not saying it's not important. I just don't really think that anything NASA tells you is basically, I mean, when Buzz Aldrin and and all these other guys and Neil Armstrong, they were saying that you guys are doing a great disservice to this country. Mm-hmm. If you ever heard Neil Armstrong say that.
Yeah, and they're all Masons too, and they have to take an oath of a secret society to be an astronaut.
And if Masons do rituals, and how do you know the Challenger wasn't a ritual?
It's all rituals. If you look at their patchwork that the astronauts have and the different names of the shuttles, it's all fallen angels and satanic. So
Apollo, all these Greek gods and stuff. Yeah. That's all Roman kind of Roman pagan belief, basically, also.
Yeah.
America is indoctrinated into Roman pagan belief through football. Is a Roman pagan thing, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the satanic agenda. It's being pushed everywhere and everything. And I think, like you made a good point, that you're going to school, you're concentrating on college and so forth. Okay, well, why isn't it important where you live? Why isn't it important that you're being lied to about them going to the moon, about space shuttles, why is that not important to know where you are?
I tried to make the disclaimer. I do think it's important. It's just right now.
No, I heard you, but I think not just you, but I get this all the time. People, they bring up flat Earth, and they act like it's a joke. It's funny, and then when I start talking about it, and they say, well, why does it matter where we live? Why does it matter? That's crazy talk. That's a psychosis. Are you serious? Why does it matter where you are? It's crazy. People are so consumed with football games and celebrities and their TV programs and going to work and paying the bills. They're never paying attention and never looking up. If you look up, you'll see the proof for yourself. These stars are not changing. You're still seeing the Small Dipper and the Large Dipper and Pisces and Aquarius and you're still seeing all the same freaking constellations from 2,000 years ago. 2,000 years. I mean, it's ridiculous. And
Illuminati pyramid thing. We're all on the bottom of the pyramid, and we're looking at each other like we're the problem. The problem is we're not looking up at the capstone on the pyramid. Who's in charge is the capstone. That on the back of the dollar bill, you got the eye, the all-seeing eye on top of the dollar. On top of the pyramid. We're all looking at each other at the bottom steps of the pyramid like we're the problem, but we're not looking up at the top of the pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
Who's at the top?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a good question. I mean, those are the people that are lying to us. I mean, these are all government-sponsored programs. NASA, SpaceX is supposed to be independent, but if you really look into them and look at the contributors, you'll find that they are owned as well. I want to ask Prodigal, what do you think about the flat Earth versus globe scam? What do you think, Prodigal? Because I don't even know your stance on it.
No, I'm not going to sit there and call myself a flat earther, and I'm not going to call myself a blue baller, but I love saying the term blue baller. I got to thank Pillbox for that one because I use that to troll the Illuminati people that I troll all the fucking time. I love calling them blue balls. But with that being said, here's the problem. It's not so much of, I don't really think I care so much, if the earth is round or flat. To me, it's the point of lying to people. It's the sciences. Now, you go back into the 1800s, right, whenever this whole evolution, the mumbo-jumbo that come through science, and I want everybody to understand one thing. If you don't understand a damn thing, understand this right now, that science, all science is put there to manipulate. They're manipulating whenever you're talking about science, you're looking at manipulating something at one point or another. You look at electricity, it's the science of manipulating electricity. You look at these drugs right now, the medical industry is manipulating these herbs right here meant to cure, to sustain illnesses, basically. So all science right now,
it's profit.
Right, exactly, and that's what it is. It's all for a profit. Now, they put out these delusions of grandeur. Do I think that we've been far enough out to know whether the Earth is a globe or if it's flat? I don't think we've been out that far. The whole point is you're lying. You're making shit up. Mm-hmm. You're taking money from me. You're taking, you're inventing a lot of shit and putting people in a position of power that probably otherwise wouldn't be in a position of power.
They're psychopaths.
I mean, you go back to, like I said, the 1800s, and they had a plan. You can go back and trace it. All this stuff right here was done by the forerunner to the media in the British Royal Society. They started to promote this humanist agenda, to basically, so you don't know your value. It takes religion away from you. Back then, if they could have disproved God, they would have did it back in the Renaissance era, whenever there were more geniuses. I wouldn't consider there being an overabundance to people that they consider genius. I wouldn't consider them an overabundance of genius. But they would have disproved it a long time ago. But it was a group of deists known as the Illuminati. Now, don't sit there, conspiracy. Because they love to do that shit. Now, with this being said, they had an agenda to take religion away from you, to take your true power away from you. Because if you rely on the Lord, that's true power. if you rely on Jesus and you rely on the Word, that's power. They want to take that power away from you. So they don't want you to question, and that's only natural to question. It's only natural to question. But they don't want you to question, how the fuck did we get to the moon in 1969? With the accommodations of 1969, and we can't get to the moon today far cheaper. How come there are colonies on the moon? How come we're not settling the moon?
Why don't we see a 24-hour feed from the moon of the Earth? Why not? If we've been there, we have satellites, we have cameras up there, we have all this stuff, but nobody can see the Earth 24 hours a day. Why not? I would pay to see that. I would pay whatever amount it is, ridiculous amount they want it, and I want to see the feed 24 hours a day from the moon. Or from space. It doesn't even have to be on the moon, because obviously we can't go there, so you can't even put a fucking camera up there. But say you have a satellite with a camera, show me that feed.
There was
come on.
There's a meteorologist friend of mine that lives around here, right? And then he shows me this picture of, it's just a picture in the desert, and it says, this little star right here is Earth, and it was supposed to be from Mars. Now understand that I've been to fucking New Mexico, what New Mexico looks like. That's a picture of what you want to call quote-unquote Mars from the Mexico desert. Stop trying to lie to me because it pisses me off.
There you go.
And that's one of the things they don't want you to question. So if you question something that goes against their propaganda, their mainstream propaganda that you're supposed to believe, and you're going to fucking believe it, because you know what? You don't want to be called a conspiracy theorist. You know, I don't want to, my ego can't handle being called crazy or a loon. My ego can't handle it. So you're going to be enslaved. It doesn't matter. There could be in abundance amounts of fucking evidence.
Yeah.
We could come and prove 100% without a shadow of a doubt that you're not going to go with it because you're conditioned. It's just like whenever I was in the Navy, I used to, you know, basically propulsion, rocket science. I used to, you know, I had to take a lot of it. And electricity follows the path of least resistance. So the best way to get electricity to work for you is to set up some resistance, diodes, resistors, switches and whatnot to get the electricity. And that's basically the way our society works today. And that's the way all science works. Like I said, all science as we know it today, the Western science, is just basically based on manipulations. And that's all based on manipulation.
Man, well said, bro. I mean, I can't agree more with everything you just said. Absolutely true.
Yeah.
It is absolutely irrefutably true that this is going on. They rub it in our faces. You know, it stems all the way back to your childhood and the manipulation of the television, which they planted in everybody's house, you know, 50 years ago, as soon as they wanted to start mind control. 10 years after the television gets mainstream, we're looking at people landing on the moon. Right, okay, yeah, it's absolutely strict.
You might find this interesting, Pillbox, is that and I wanted to tell you this one too because I told Rose earlier. And I think I might have told you before. One of the first algorithms ever created for the NSA, the NIST, by IBM was called Lucifer.
Yeah, not a coincidence. Right? No, very good. Not a coincidence there. Absolutely true, Neo. But yeah, guys, it's not about conspiracy and it's not about evidence. It's never been about conspiracy or evidence. People do and believe what they want. That is the reality. Or people believe what they want to believe, and they will never let their pride go if their pride is more important than everything else. And this subject of the shape of the earth, no, it's not the shape of the earth that is so important. It's the fact that so many, literally, millions of people are lying to us about this scam, including Christians. It's not just the atheists that are obviously making themselves look like the dumbest people you could ever imagine, but no, the Christians are doing the same thing. That's how we know this is the biggest issue in 2,000 years. This is the most important issue, and anybody lifetime that has lived in the last 500 years. This is the most important issue because it makes everything else obvious, and it brings forth the truth about everything, and exposes the criminals, and it exposes the fact that so many people are deceived they cannot admit they don't know. The fact of the matter is that nobody knows, and they're all saying that they know they're on a ball when everything in all of science and technology and history works on a flat plane. Everything, 100%. And I'm going to go into the details later about northern corrections and the fact that we've had sailors, Prodigal, sailors for hundreds of years try to circumnavigate the world. They couldn't get through. They could not get through the South Pole. They could never get through the South Pole because there is no South Pole. That's probably why they constantly get lost. The Navy still has issues of being out of range, which they call, reckoning, because you have to continuously make northern corrections to go east or west, even if you're south of the equator. And I'm sorry, but all of this disproves the baller scam and the fact that it is just obvious. So when people continue to act like there's evidence otherwise, they're just lying to themselves, and I've seen just as many Christians, so-called Christians, do this as everybody else, and that is what has confirmed this as the biggest issue in all of our lifetimes. Because if anything can grab a hold of you like this and make you act like a complete asinine liar and just go apeshit on people and start calling everybody else liars when you're lying about you're pretending you understand pseudoscience, and you're going to spend your life now attacking Christians that actually know that they're not on a ball because they've decided to wake up. That's not a Christian, and you very well could have some, I guess as Rev would say, salvation issues. Guys, if you're a Christian and you spend your time lying using Satan's lies, you have salvation issues. Yes, it has come to that point where it has turned into a salvation issue. If you're going to act like an atheist and continually use the lies of Satan, and that's your thing, and you're calling yourself a Christian, you have serious issues. Yeah, and when there's one cockroach, there's always another one. So,
wow.
I wanted to let you know I thought about you this week because I'm on this site. Well, it's Anti-Illuminati versus Illuminati, and it's on my Facebook page. And I was getting into it about the flat Earth thing, and somebody brought up the Coriolis Effect, and man, I get dude fucking hell.
Oh no!
Oh right, the magical Coriolis Effect, right?
Yeah, I wanted to invite him in so bad to talk to you guys, but what part of the problem is, Pillbox, and why people just can't let the globe, can't accept anything other than a globe Earth in this generation is because they have all these great movies like Star Wars and Guardians of the Galaxy and Star Trek, and all these movies suggest that there's an outer space and that we're living on a bald Earth and that one day we're going to leave this rock for how long, and people don't want to give that up, their fantasies. They don't want to give their fantasies up. So if the Earth is flat and it's not a globe and there is no magical fucking Klingon Valley or Vulcan planet or shit like that, then that kills their fantasies, I think, a little.
Right. It's always about the fantasies, manipulating the masses, and that's what they've always done. As soon as they were able to do movies and television, even the first black and white, I think it was a soundless, silent film. Was a moon landing film, a clear, basically comedy skit. We would look at it like just a joke, and that's what it's always been. It's always well, hold on. It's always been a fantasy, exactly. It's always been a fantasy. So what they implement is fantasy into our lives and make us read fantasy and watch fantasy, and then of course they bring it to life, and then 10 years after they make everybody in America own a television, they show us fake footage of us pretending to land on the moon, and we all believed it and thought we were the greatest people in the world. And also, look how obvious it is that we're on a ball. Let's watch the next sports game. And then everybody got complacent, and here we are. Now we are the biggest disaster in the history of mankind, and America is literally the biggest joke in history, and Americans are going to really have it coming to them the way that they've been acting. And honestly, American Christians are a great example of that, is because they are deceived and their pride is too strong. And it's not necessarily about just the fantasy, it's about their friends. They don't want to upset their friends. They don't want to challenge their families, and they don't want to be ridiculed. Like, how stupid could you be to think the Earth is not a ball. And that is part of mind manipulation, because people are so deceived. Again, it is easier to fool somebody than to convince them that they have been fooled. And it is the greatest scam ever, because you have these people in droves, and so many of them Christians, foaming at the mouth and lying through their teeth and faking it and pretending they understand pseudoscience. It's disgusting, frankly, and it is worse than the evolution scam. The evolution scam, you didn't have Christians in droves lying to you about it.
Well, you know what? I think everybody brought up excellent points. And Prodigal brought up the point that it keeps us from God. Okay, if you know where you live is created by God, if there's a firmament and we're on a flat plane with the four corners with the angels, which I will show the biblical verses in the Bible repeatedly. Right now, I'll show you actually right here. Right here we have Numbers, Ezekiel, Isaiah, and it says it all right here. I mean, it mentions the four corners all the time. So if you want to go at that stance. But right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show Obama talking about the flat earth. He has this thing about that. On June 25th, 2013, this was the conversation he had. You guys willing to watch this real quick? It's a couple seconds.
Yeah, I have no problem.
Cool. All right, here we go.
We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society.
Again.
Denies that this challenge is real. We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society.
Okay, now wait.
Who denies that this challenge is real. We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society.
Okay, everything that Obama says is scripted. Look at him. He loves it. He got that clap. He got that clap.
We don't have much patience for anyone who denies that this challenge is real. We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society.
All right, he loved it. All right, there we go. And then we have another one, March 15, 2012. He mentions it again. Hold on. And again, you have people in the background smiling and laughing, ha, 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 ha. You know, I don't understand it, but here we go.
We've heard this kind of thinking before. Let me tell you something. If some of these folks were around when Columbus set sail,
ha, 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 ha. Yeah.
They must have been founding members of the Flat Earth Society. They would not have believed that the world was round.
Look at everybody in the audience just laughing their asses off and don't even understand that they are the fools. They are the one that are fools. Again, I'm going to show it again.
These folks were around when Columbus set sail. They must have been founding members of the Flat Earth Society. They would not have believed that the world was round.
Look at that.
Oh, this isn't the first time he's bashed Christianity. There's another video where he blasphemes the Bible outright. He says it's okay to stone your children, Deuteronomy, and he talks about...
I remember that. Yeah, absolutely. He's mentioned this over 5 times. But right here, if you listen, okay, he just got done saying what he just said. If you hold on one second and listen. Listen.
They probably would have agreed with one of the pioneers of the radio who said, television won't last, it's a flash in the pan. But one of Henry Ford's advisors was quoted as saying, the horse is here to stay, but the automobile is only a fad. There have always been folks like that. There have always been folks who are the naysayers and don't believe in the future and don't believe in trying to do things differently.
How are we now? He just got done talking about the flat Earth, and he's saying there's people that are the naysayers that don't believe in doing things differently. So that means by by believing what we're telling you, you're going to have people that are going to say, no, we don't believe you. All right? And then you're going to have people that they want people to believe what they're saying. If you pay attention to what he's saying, that's...
Well, one of my predecessors, Rutherford B. Hayes, reportedly said about the telephone, it's a great invention, but who would ever want to use one? Well, that's why he's not on Mount Rushmore.
See, they made this globe Earth up. They made it up.
Yeah, they it's like I said, it's so dismissive. The only thing about these people right here is that they're so dismissive, and a lot of people nowadays, they don't want to believe that. A lot of them don't really even want to believe in a government conspiracy. I had a friend that I work with who's a Christian as well, who watches the videos and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And he believes that we're in the end time. But he doesn't want to believe that these people have planned this for thousands of years. He doesn't want to believe in the Bilderbergs and all that. And I'm like, how can you not believe in something that you already know for a fact that Bilderberg's around, Trilateral Commission, that these people have been there forever, and the plans have been, and they know that they're out of time. I mean, it's crazy. So people are afraid to question stuff now. And that's the problem.
Yeah, because sorry for the echo. They're scared of the ridicule, you know, and I don't care. You know, I go into, like I said, I go into hangouts, and the first thing when they see me, House of Flat Earth Bros, ha 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 ha. I don't see how that's insulting. I think it's insulting that you haven't even looked into it, and you believe the fucking lies that are being forced down your throat. You know, you don't even understand. You need to vomit that shit out and look for the truth. Instead, they're if anything, they're protecting the agenda. You are like agents for this mass conspiracy against humanity, and you're keeping the lie for what? Why are you keeping the lie for the most scummiest people in the world? All right? They're scum. They're lying to you, your family, your relatives, your friends. Your whole life in reality is a lie. And you're protecting that? And you think it's funny for people who know the truth? Well, all you have to do is fucking look up. Just, you know, it's ridiculous. I'm just so done with it. So done.
I just want to say one thing for sure. If you're believing all the shit that you're seeing on CNN, fucking Mars and Pluto and fucking Uranus and all this other stupid bullshit, and you believe that we went to the fucking moon in 1969, you might not want to fucking laugh. Because how fucking acidine is that fucking belief that you actually think that we went to the fucking moon in 1969 in a paper mache fucking little fucking tinfoil built whatever the fuck it is, little capsule that they went. How the fuck do you believe in that shit? To be honest with you, how can you be that dumb? How can you not question something? And it's funny because I believe we've had people here on your fucking channel and say, oh, well, the Earth really isn't round, it's oblong, or it's pear-shaped, or it's this, or it's that. No, you're looking at a Photoshop picture. All the shit that you're looking for is half of it's painting, CGI, Photoshopped bullshit. Yep. And NASA's even admitted it. So before you go over there tickling your dumb ass off, just understand that you're a tool, man. You're a fucking tool. You don't question shit, so don't sit there and laugh at people who do question shit. Because if you don't have the balls, if you don't have the balls to sit there and question your government and ask if fucking ISIS is a proxy group over there in Syria and our government's starting all these damn wars, if you don't have the fucking balls to do that, shut the fuck up, sit the fuck down, and don't say a damn thing. You can go ahead and sub to me, and I'll explain it to you, because we know you're not going to sit there and look at the shit for yourself.
No.
And I'm just being real.
They're not. Nobody, none of them. Look, I've offered to give them documents. I've offered videos. Nobody wants to take time to read. Oh, and I get that too. Oh, I read books, and they say that to me because I read books, and they act like that's an insult as well. That's insanity. These people are insane. It's a disease. It's a global scam disease. It's a global scam disease.
Here. Absolutely correct. It is absolutely true. You're dealing with a criminal mindset. And again, the sad part is, if it was just atheists, everything would be fine. But it's not. It's not atheists, and atheists aren't causing the problems. Nobody cares about what atheists say. Nobody gives a shit about atheists. They are the limited factor of nothing. They have never done anything in all of history. Atheists are not important. Nobody gives a shit about any atheists. It's the people that are not atheists that are in droves lying about this bullshit, this obvious scam that is a mind-warping, psychotic, psychosis of some sort of dream world that you can't shake out of people because, oh, I'm just not sure right now, or I don't have time for it. Well, you don't have time for reality. I guess you're just faking everything, because reality, as Jesus Christ has told you, if you're a Christian, that the truth will set you free, and all truths will be revealed, and the fact that truth is kind of important, and it's been mentioned many times, and the fact that in the Bible it's mentioned that the earth is on foundations and it shall never be moved. One guy said it was mentioned over 350 times. You think that might be important. You think you might want to take that seriously if you're a believer in the Bible, which the Quran is based off of, obviously. So it doesn't matter if you're Muslim, because that's not the original book anyway, we know that. But the fact of the matter is that any sort of holy book, including the Hebrew scholars, knew this, and they understood the flat plane and the firmament and the existence in which we were on. There was no ball. There is no above the heavens. How do the heavens, can you show me where the above is on a ball? Can you show me where the above is? I'm going to take a ball right now. I'm going to throw it real quick, and you tell me where the above is, okay? What do you think, Prodigal? You show me where the above is on the ball. When I throw this ball through space, why do we even think it? How do we know? How do these ball earth idiots think that? How do they know they're not actually upside down and really everything points to a south pole? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? How do we know we're not upside down? It's so stupid. It is so stupid. There is no upside down, guys. You understand? They're showing a ball upright. What do you mean upright? There is no such thing as upright if you're a ball spinning.
Yeah, absolutely not. Great point.
Get the hell out of here.
And not just that, the atheists are working for Satan. So if they don't believe in God, well, you're working for Satan, because you're doing the job that the government wants you to do, and they do believe in Satan. They do believe in Lucifer. Whether you do or not, it doesn't matter. You're still doing their job. You're the little bitch, all right? So every time you're talking shit, you're being the government's bitch. You're being the Illuminati's bitch. That's what you're doing, and really, you do the work for Satan. Just so to let you know it.
Yeah, we have. I just want to let everybody know we have half a dozen viewers or over right now, and I mean, there's not a lot of views, but if one person understands just a little bit of this, it'll help you greatly in life. If you were to ever approach anybody that is stressing to you that you're in a spinning ball, just ask them one of two questions: how fast is the Earth flying through space? And the second question is, do you think the sun is moving? And watch their eyeballs travel around the room that you're in with these people, because they don't know. Every time I've asked anybody that believes in a ball earth, doesn't know how fast they're moving through space, and they're not sure if the sun's moving. Sometimes they say, no, the sun is the center of the universe. Really? Because your model, you don't even understand your model. The sun is flying around the galaxy, and you're flying around the sun, and that multiplies into many centripetal and centrifugal force equations multiplied by 5. You're talking about many hundreds of thousands. They don't know any of that. They don't know any of those factors whatsoever. And no matter what, they will always just say, well, it's gravity. Every single time. And it's honestly embarrassing, because it's like, if you're that stupid just to answer the same force that keeps me here is the same force that keeps the balls flying around each other, you are an idiot. You will have a serious mental problem, and I can't help it. It's never been about the evidence. You have no evidence. So how could it be about the evidence protocol? And anybody that's worried about evidence that thinks they're on a ball, what evidence have you ever seen ever besides you pretending you see ships over the horizon disappearing, yet I can see the mountain that's 100 miles farther away? You ever, just think about what you're saying and how stupid it is. You're saying the ship is disappearing, but the island that's 50, 60, or 70 miles away, I can still see it straight out, flat on the horizon. Do you think the ship is like being submerged underwater? Is there a magical dip, like a golf ball on this Earth? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't work. It never works for the ball Earth. Everything is derived on a flat plane. All of mechanics and engineering and science, technology. You got radar, laser systems that point straight out from Navy ships 80 miles away. You'd have over 4,000 feet of curvature. How come at 80 miles away I can lace a target? How do airplane radars work 350, 400 miles away? You got the F-22, the Russian Sukhoi 35s and 33s. Their radars go out sometimes past 300 miles. That doesn't make sense on a ball. You people don't know anything about your own belief. And that's what I've noticed, and that's why this is a massive psychosis. And it's literally the most devastating lie that you could ever imagine, because you have people that are supposed to be good people that are honest, all of a sudden going zombie on you and then turning into habitual liars right before your face as soon as you say, you might not be on a ball.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every single time. And I've done it, and I've done this many times in public too, guys. I don't just do this online. I talk to people in public all the time, and either people go right away, wow, you know what, you're right, there's something wrong, I'm going to look into this, or they go, gravity. That's the job. You can go to psychosis and pretend you're magical gravity. Right. That's it.
Why does it matter? Why does it matter if we're
well, that is true. There is another. That's a good point. There's another psychosis going around, and people are literally losing their minds, and they're saying the dumbest thing I could ever imagine. And that's, what does it matter? Which has got to be the dumbest question. If you think why does the truth matter, you are the problem. That
just pisses me off, because I don't understand how anybody can. That's not the first question I asked when I started looking into this, and I didn't believe this. Okay, right away. It took a lot of time to look into this, break it down, look at the evidence. You don't just go, yeah, I believe in the flat Earth from one video of YouTube. All right, you don't do that. You really have to look into it. All right, it's not something. This is your reality. If anything, you're going to put the most time into that, all right? I've been doing research for 15 years now. I know it was 14 a long time ago, and now it's a new year. 15 years, all right? I take this very seriously. And, the first question I asked wasn't, why does that matter? The first question I asked is, why was I lied to? That's the first question you need to ask. Why are you being lied to? From when you're 5 years old and you're in kindergarten, right? You're being told you're on a globe. You cannot function. Your brain does not function to say no. All right? You're taking this child at such a young age that cannot even question anything. They don't know shit. They don't even know how to read. They don't know what the alphabet is. They don't know what colors are. It's all programming. The colors are programming. All of it's programming, dude. And you're being told you're on a globe. You're not going to say no. You're going to say, oh, okay. And that just goes automatically in your head. So, you have to break all that programming, I think it's sad. I think that's child abuse. That's child abuse, And these teachers, some of them might know the truth. Some of them probably been mind controlled themselves. They were told that it's a globe, so they have no problem teaching another kid it's a globe because they haven't questioned anything in their life. All right, so I'm going to go to this video because that shit just pisses me off. I'm sorry, but yeah, I'm going to move on. And I'm going to show a video. This is Flat Earth Sunset Time Lapse. Where you should not be able to see the sun at a certain point, but we continue to. And you don't mind, Protocol?
No, go ahead. Yeah,
all
go
right,
ahead.
you got about 3 minutes to do whatever you want.
All right, well, I'll go ahead and sit there and say this right here because it's funny.
What?
Everybody's like, "Oh, well, you actually think you live on the flat Earth and blah 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 blah." These are the same fucking tools. You go over there on Facebook, and I know you don't have Facebook, but I do. That put the little fucking rainbow flags on your picture and say, "Wow, this makes me a supporter of gay marriage." Or you put the little French flag on your fucking picture and it says, "Oh, I'm fighting terrorists now." And because you're a fucking program. You are fucking programmed. Don't come over here and say, "Well, you're questioning whether you live in a globe Earth, you dummy." Well, look how dumb you have to be to question whether it's round or not.
Obviously, I'm questioning something.
Because I have the balls to.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not putting a flag over my picture and think I'm accomplishing something in life. All right. At least I'm understanding or trying to understand what is going on. All right. I think all people should want to know, where are you? Are you on a globe? Are you on a flat Earth? Which one is it? Right? Where are you? Shouldn't you want to know that? No, of course not. A lot of people don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. They have their phones, they have their movies, they have their programs, they have their jobs, they have their friends, they have their family, they have their girlfriends, they have their wives, they have blah, blah, blah. Keep them busy. Bread and circus. You know, sorry if I took the time to even look into this. Yeah. Yeah. At least I looked. Fucking A. Alright, so check this out. I think this is an excellent video that Pillbox shared with me. It's very beautiful. And keep in mind, too, when he videotaped this, he didn't believe in Flat Earth. He didn't know what he was taping. So this is not biased at all. Alright? He was just filming it. And once it came into his realization that Flat Earth is a possibility, he went back into his footage that he had filmed and brought that up, and became the realization that that's a possibility. Now he believes. He's a believer now. So I'm gonna share that. People enjoy because it's amazing. Here we go.
Watch this 4-minute time lapse of a flight from Newark, New Jersey to Moscow, Russia with you.
From New Jersey to Moscow.
Because I'm sick and tired of people saying that the sun never changes size in the sky. I'm sick and tired of people saying that the sun doesn't get smaller as it sets. From an airplane, you know, at over 30,000 feet, you're much higher, so your horizon is much further away. And when your horizon is much further away, this allows you to see the sun a lot longer, and this allows you to see the sun actually getting smaller as it gets further away. Most people think this doesn't happen, because when you're standing on the ground and your horizon is only a few miles away, the sun only gets a little bit smaller before it actually hits the horizon and completely disappears. People don't understand this. The sun, as it gets further away, does get smaller and smaller and smaller until it hits your horizon, wherever that is. And that's a function of your height above sea level. Once it hits the horizon, you're not going to be able to see it anymore. That's what a horizon does. You can't see past your horizon. The horizon will always be flat, and it'll always be at eye level, exactly shown in this video, where you're on an airplane over 30,000 feet high, and you don't look down to see horizon. You're still looking completely out the window, and the horizon is completely flat and in front of you. So right about here, the sun comes into frame. You can see it. It's super bright. And look how big it is. Look at the size of the sun when it's that close. Now, with this awesome time lapse, we're going to be able to see the sun getting smaller as it moves further away. Incredible. Getting smaller. It's getting smaller. I mean, it's faint, but when I show you the comparisons in a minute, you'll see that sun right there is clearly smaller than the sun that was right overhead. Then it hits the horizon, which is at your eye level, and then it disappears. So the sun is not going down. The sun is just getting further away from you. Day after day, alone on a hill, the man with the foolish grin is keeping perfectly still. But the fool on the hill sees the sun going down, and the eyes in his head see the world spinning round. Because he's a fool. The earth does not spin. This sun is actually just getting further and further away from you. The sunlight on the horizon doesn't disappear evenly. It kind of folds over. And the sun in this video will rise in the exact place it should on the flat Earth model, but yet it makes no sense on the globe model. I witnessed this for myself from an airplane. This is how I know it would be like this before I came across this video. On my flight to Israel, I got to watch a sunset on December 28th. From the airplane, I watched the sunset. Then it was dark. And 4 hours later, I was able to watch the sun rise. We sped up nighttime because of the direction we were flying on Earth. But when I saw the sun rise from the airplane, it did not rise in the place it should have, in my head. I still thought the Earth was a ball at the time. And when I saw where the sun rose from the airplane, after seeing where it set, it made no sense to me. I was completely confused when I was on that airplane. A few months later, I discovered flat Earth. I learned about the sun, and it makes perfect sense. Just as this video does. It makes perfect sense. So stop denying that the sun gets smaller as it sets. The sun absolutely gets smaller as it sets. And this is despite the atmospheric magnification that's happening on it at the same time. The sun still gets smaller because it's moving away from you. It's a matter of perspective. I mean, look at this. Are you going to tell me that this sun is not getting smaller as it's moving away? You're going to tell me this sun is simply staying the same distance and setting? No. This sun is clearly getting smaller. Look how small it is right here. Look at it right here.
All right. Look at that. Never ends. Sun's always there. Boom.
But people will still question. They'll question the validity of that video.
Well, they can if they want, but there you go. Sun never went down. Should have. Right?
Well, they
From
love
New
their
Jersey?
Photoshop, so.
What?
I said they love their Photoshop, so.
Yeah, that's true. But there you go. Pill, did you see the video? I showed the sun that never set. I'm hearing an echo.
Yeah, I mean, what are you guys going to do about that? I mean, what are the ball scam earthers going to do about the fact that you can get in a plane, go 30,000
I don't think we can hear you,
feet,
man. If you're trying to say, okay,
you can't hear me.
You can hear?
Well, I mean, you go 30,000 feet in the sky, guys, and you're in an airplane, all right? And the guy's showing you, okay, this is a very clear and perfectly documented video. And what's great is that what you got to realize in photography
Can
when
y'all
you
hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you right now. Hold on 1 second, man. I'm just gonna mute you real quick. All right, good job. You're in a plane 30,000 feet. This has been documented multiple times. All right, so let's actually get into honest mode. Let's see how many viewers can be honest right now. Let's put our presuppositions away. We have a comparison of size, or a basically a calibration in the photography, which is the wing, so we can tell that the photographer is not zooming in or out during this sunset. So we see the sun going away, traveling away as we're in this airplane. We can watch the video. Everybody just saw the video, or most of the viewers right now probably saw it or will see it. And clearly, the sun is getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. Now, why is this such a big issue? Obviously, it's obvious. It's if the sun was very far away, it would not get smaller and smaller and smaller. And this guy just nails it. And then you can see that the sunlight never goes away if you're at 30,000 feet. Yeah, I mean, it just annihilates the ball Earth scam. It's phenomenal. I think it's one of the best pieces of footage that could have ever been captured. Really.
I agree. And we have Scott Peterson, our nice friend, in chat. He's saying, how do you not understand camera glare in overexposure? Oh, really? Really? Come on, dude. Are you blind? How do you not
understand? That guy is so stupid. You're talking about somebody so stupid. This is the guy that thinks that the space shuttle can sound like a 747 and so can kites if they don't have engines.
I'm going to show that. I'm going to show that.
Oh, my God. Oh, man. Yeah, this is the same idiot. This guy has got to be one of the. I'm sorry, ball earthers, but if you associate with with people this stupid, I cannot waste any time with you, and I will not answer your questions. If you guys are that stupid, I can't help you. Listen, guys, this is a many pay grades above you. If you're accepting these types of psychosis religious beliefs that magical sun glares can make the sun appear that it's 5 times bigger many hours earlier, you think it's going to go down to literally maybe even as small as 5 or less than 5% its original size as it was documented. And we have the calibration device, which is the wing. The wing is seen in the footage, so we know that the camera's not being manipulated. The sun gets very tiny, and these people are so psychotic and literally possessed by demons that they'll say it's sun glare. It's sun glare. Oh my God, dear Lord, these people are just zombies. Listen, that's the thing, guys. Here's one thing that all the truthers have to realize: the zombie apocalypse is already here. All right, the zombie apocalypse. We are already surrounded by zombies dying and like literally killing themselves, eating their own flesh, and saying things like it's sun glare. Guys, we are in the zombie apocalypse. We're here. Welcome.
That's right. Good point. And Reyes Anderson, thank you. He said, or she said, how do you explain away the thousands of videos of cameras being sent into the upper atmosphere? Literally thousands. Hell, I know someone who has made one. All right, good argument, Rose. All right, thank you. Exactly.
Yeah, the fact that it's flat everywhere, like when Francis Gary Powers flew up in 1958, took some interesting pictures over Turkey, which is not part of this hangout. We're not going to get into that. But my dad used to teach me about Francis Gary Powers when I was a very young child, so I learned about spy planes. Those planes were able to go to 70 and 80,000 feet, and that's it. That's the ceiling, and every single shot that is not manipulated shows a flat horizon, and it's at eye level. The key is at eye level. It doesn't matter if it's curved. That doesn't matter. What the fact of the matter, and what is most important, is that all the pictures show the horizon at eye level, and that's why we know we're not on a ball, and that is just absolutely irrefutable. So I appreciate that from Rose.
Right. Yeah, and somebody else is saying, where the hell are the magnetic poles? Again, that would have to go back to gravity, right?
No. How did the ball earthers know that they're not upside down and everything points to a south pole? I want to know that.
Yeah.
I want to know why. How do we know we're not upside down? Everything points to a south pole, because for some reason magically everything just points to a north pole, and that's accepted. Which you guys realize the reason. Right, but listen, guys. The reason that's accepted, I'm just going to get into a couple of small little details that protocol a lot of people know about. But let me just say this real quick. Guys, it never points to a south pole, even if you're south of the equator, because there is no south pole. You see how easy this is when you get into reality and you just start accepting it? There's no south pole.
It has to point at the north because the north is in the middle of the flat Earth model. It's never going to point to the south, even if you're in the fucking south.
Right, and not only that, and now we have a bigger problem. Now we have a huge problem. You know what that huge problem is, Rose?
What is it?
We have airline traffic.
Oh!
Yeah. We have the fact that these airliners, these 747s, 57, 60, whatever, all these jet international, by the way, we no longer fly the Concorde. We can't talk about that tonight. We used to fly a Concorde. We used to fly people at those really heights that were, double the normal standard airliner about 35,000 feet. They'd go up to almost 70,000 feet in the Concorde, and they'd take pictures, and it'd still be at eye level. You know what I mean? It's really embarrassing. So they canceled the Concorde. But the guys, we constantly in flight, when you're making an eastern or western trajectory, if you're going to go east or west, ball earthers think you can go in a straight line. But the problem is, in reality, you can't go in a straight line to go east or west. You can only go in a straight line to go north or south. So we have this issue, well, a serious issue, because we're making northern corrections. If you're going east, I have to make a northern corrections, which makes a right-hand correction. If I'm going west, it's going to make a right-hand correction. So excuse me, for east, it's going to make a left-hand correction. So always northern. Why is it always northern? And then I go below the equator, and these flights still below the equator, just like a compass. It's really weird. Still have to make these northern corrections, and there's no southern corrections. And one of these pseudoscience organizations came up and said, oh yeah, this is part of the Coriolis Effect. They have to come up with this excuse. They have to come up, right. They double use the Coriolis Effect.
I have a question. People are saying, Pill, Rose, you denying the existence of compasses.
Yeah, compasses don't exist. That's exactly what we said.
Sure.
That's what I said. Let me just say, right, compasses don't exist. And neither does paper or rock or scissors. So I'm sorry we can't play your little game. But I'm sorry, it's not a paper, rock, or scissors game. Go back to the television. It's okay. The compasses. Yeah, the compasses that we have. I have a compass in my truck. You know, my truck came. It's so funny. My 2001 Dodge Ram came with a compass, and you know what? When it says it's going north, it's going north. I bet. It knows it's going north. Let me tell you, every time it knows it's going north. My truck, my black truck has a compass.
You're denying that north exists, Bill. Come on.
Right, I know. North does not. No.
You're not going north. At some point, you're going up because you got to go up with the fucking curvature. So you would be going up at some point. However long you go up, you would have to go up because there's a lot of curvature between wherever the hell you're going and wherever the hell you're trying to get to.
Right, and light bends. That's why it looks like it's flat, because light bends. Yeah.
Hey, does a laser bend?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, lasers bend. Yeah, lasers bend. No. In the ball Earth model, these people think lasers curve. They really do. That's what I'm saying to you. It's really sad. I'm just being honest with you.
It is.
And the Mississippi River flows 11 miles up a curve. I just want to let you know. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is. Very impressive. All right, so I'm going to show the shuttle.
Let's get to the shuttle. I got to see this. Come on.
Yeah, I got to see this. Yeah.
It's only about 1 minute or so. Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, here we go.
Kids with ears, open them.
Please. Please do. Please don't be a tool.
Because here's the deal, guys. There's no excuses. Yeah, there's no excuses with this video. A 6-year-old child, such as the one that I was many decades ago, could have easily identified what the sound is not. So just so you know. Good luck.
Here we go.
A glider. First off, those wings are...
Oh, and by the way, thank you, Russian Vids, for making this video. You are awesome. This is also the footage that Scott Preston said that a kite, just a regular kite, any kite you want, Hello Kitty, Spider-Man kite, it doesn't matter. If it's going fast enough, can sound like a 747.
Yeah, it'll right. A kite will. Well, let's. I mean, you got to let the video speak for itself. Okay. But yeah, you're talking about a psychosis that's not explainable.
Okay, here we go.
To be that of a glider. Take a look and take a listen to those jet engines.
There's a shuttle. Touchdown.
And as you can clearly see from this still,
wow,
here's one of the two jet engines.
Yeah, that's a jet engine. You can see it sticking above the wing. It's pretty easy.
They're nothing more than falling stars. So to cover up the lies. And here's a demonstration how those that very start to try to disprove God and the Bible. Take a look how everything with evolution is the exact opposite of the Bible. Where it states here in the Bible, earth before sun, the evolution states sun before earth, oceans before land, land before ocean, fish before insects, insects before fish. Evolution states man evolved from liquid, birds before reptiles, before birds. There is eternity. There is no eternity. There is no soul. There is no soul. How evolution is the exact opposite of the Bible. And demonstrate how this is satanic. By Aleister Crowley, it goes back further to Eliphas Levi. Aleister Crowley's Book of Magic let him train himself to think backwards by external means as set forth here following. Let him learn to write backwards, walk backwards, listen to phonographic records backwards, practice speaking backwards, read backwards. So this is the law of reversal. Satanists even say the Lord's Prayer backwards. So again, this is why everything is the reverse of what the Bible states. And the point of teaching everything the exact opposite is when you're told one thing, say it's A, and when the reality is Z, it's too far to go from A to Z. The mind can't handle it, and that's why so many reject truth. There are many Bible believers that have fallen for the satanic system that the so-called elite have created. The school systems, the textbooks, the History Channel, believing we live on a ball earth. Now let's read from Isaiah 40:22, where it states, referring to God, it is He who sits above the circle of the earth. Now taking a look, it's nothing more than a composite provided. Does this look like a circle to you or a sphere? And remember, the word sphere existed in biblical times. Take a look at this basketball. Sphere. Same thing. Realize, and we all been lied to from birth. You don't understand, again, how everything is the exact opposite of what the Bible states. All your answers are in the Bible. Why don't the churches tell us this? They're the ones that are supposed to be telling us the truth about the Bible. But here's the problem. Take a look at these hand signs by Joel Osteen. These are all Freemasons in the game. The 666 hand sign, all the Masonic signs. We're going to look more here. Here's Robert Wilson, same exact satanic hand sign. This is how they control society. They control both those that believe in science and those that believe in God. The Bible is true, but they're steering you off course. Right here, the 666 hand sign, Masonic hand sign. It's all there, right in front of you. Not by coincidence, but they're all doing the same sign. All Freemasons, all part of the game. And here with John Hagee, again, more Masonic hand signs, the devil horns. These deceivers will never tell you that 9/11 was an inside job, the Boston bombing was a hoax, Sandy Hook was a hoax, all the racial saps that are taking place. That's their job. Tell you a good amount of truth when it comes to the Bible, but they're never going to tell you the absolute truth. It's what deceivers do. It's like if you're going to make a counterfeit dollar, you're going to make it look real as possible. You pass it off as legit, and that's exactly what these deceivers do. Millions and millions worldwide deceived. For more reference, taking a look at some more of these deceivers. Again, the double 666 hand sign, all Masonic. And here's part of Poland. I've had people tell me on my channel, oh no, this guy's legit. You believe this guy's legit? Sorry to say, you're 100% deceived. All of them are Masons. There are no heroes in this world. If they were, they wouldn't be on TV. TV is 100% controlled.
All right. So we saw a shuttle. What do you think about that?
What was supposed to be the deal with the shuttle? I really couldn't see it that well. From my end, I'm on my phone, of course. So.
Okay. Well, this is the thing. The shuttle's landing, and you can hear engines. You're not supposed to.
That doesn't surprise me at all. The thing about it is, and all credit to Russian Vids. He's a great guy. I've been subbed to him. I was like one of his first subs, and the guy does great work. But it's absolutely right. This whole society is bass backwards. I mean, the shit, just the way society's going. I mean, they protect criminals now. Everybody's like, oh well, I'm just gonna go with the flow and not question anything. And Hillary just stuck fucking weapons into Syria through Benghazi, and it's okay. And we just had a ambassador die over there because Hillary had to sneak the weapons into Benghazi, but that's okay. And they don't hold anybody to any responsibilities anymore. And it is a backward society, it doesn't matter because Russian videos, you're 100% correct. This fucking society is set up for the criminals. It really is. And it's set up to be pagan. Our churches right now are pagan. Our fucking pagan holidays. Christmas is a pagan holiday. All these holidays that y'all take and all this stuff, they're all pagan. They're all pagan. We're fixing to come on St. Valentine's Day or whatever the hell it is, and they're just it's all pagan. I mean, and people don't want to put that much effort into calling anything out and showing people a direction.
What I don't understand. Sorry, there's echo. There's always like Christian churches that celebrate Halloween. Now that is Satan's holiday. Why are Christian churches celebrating Halloween? I mean, that's crazy. Why would you do that? They even have haunted houses in the churches. They're dressing up. Why? You gotta think. This agenda goes so deep. These guys are scumbags, but they're not stupid. They've infiltrated everything. Our education system, our churches, our politics, our life, our sports, our music, our TV, everything from birth. You're manipulated, period. Why do you think if you ever go to court, why is it always capital letters? Your name is always in capital letters. Because you're a corporation. They don't spell it the way you do with caps and non-caps. They don't do it like that. It's always all caps. If you ever ask them to do that, they won't do it. It's all an agenda. They need your okay. Everything needs to be okayed. And right now, people in society is okaying everything. And that's why it's going to continue to be fucked up until you stop okaying it. And people need to wake up and understand this is not a joke. This is your life. And not just your life, but everybody's life that you know. And I think that's important. I don't understand how it's not important. I care about people. I care about people that are in my life and that I know. And, to say it doesn't matter, it's insane. It's insane. It is beyond reasoning, beyond my reasoning. And yeah, I've been mind controlled. Everybody has been mind controlled, but that's beyond reasoning to say it doesn't matter. Whether your family and you are being manipulated, it doesn't matter. Anyways, moving on. I'm going to wrap this up soon. I only wanted to do a quick video. This is like part 1. I'll do part 2. I had so many things I wanted to cover, but I only covered half of them tonight. Just getting started. But, yeah.
Yeah, guys, for real, we're trying to help you. I mean, there's a lot of Christians out there that are so confused that they're sending us messages, they're sending Rose Patton messages, they're constantly sending me messages about their confusion, and then they constantly say the same stupid thing that we're getting, which is, why does it matter? Or, you know, going back and first they'll say, what's the evidence? Then we'll give them the evidence, and then they'll be obviously flustered. Then they'll say, why does it matter? You guys have a psychosis, and that's what we're done with atheists, because the atheists don't matter. I can't even help the Christians realize truth. Why am I going to waste my life spending time trying to help atheists understand the truth if you Christians out there that are supposed to be on my side are going to continue to lie to me? Why don't you stop lying?
I know. It's crazy. It says it in the Bible. I mean, you know, back in the day, if you believed the earth was round, they killed you. Look it up. They killed you. Alright? That was like witchcraft for you to say that. And why has that changed? Right?
Let no man deceive you. That, I think, is, at the end of the day, what y'all are trying to get at. Is that if the earth is flat, let no man deceive you. And at the end of the day, you've got to be a complete and utter fucking idiot if you honestly believe that we went to the fucking moon in 1969. You just do. You have to be a complete and utter fucking idiot, a fucking tool that's going to do exactly what you're told. And I think what at the end of the day, what we're trying to get across, and like I said, I wouldn't even consider myself a flat earther. I wouldn't consider myself a flat earther. But what we're trying to sit here and say is just don't take everybody's word for it, because at the end of the day, you are being controlled. Regardless if you want to agree with me or not, you're being controlled. Whenever you're just going with the official story, the official narrative, we know that they lie about history. We know that they lie about archaeology and all these other science. There's manipulation in every science. What do you expect me to really believe in Piltdown in? It's already been disproven as a hoax. If you're not going to call them out, and you're not going to, then you're part of the problem. You're one of those little herders.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Thank you, Prodigal. Thank you.
And I think that's what we're trying to say at the end of the day. Grow a set of balls, and if you don't believe it, you have reservations, if you have questions, then get the answers. Just don't take their word for it. Have your own mind.
Yeah.
Amen to that. Yeah, well said, bro. Yeah. Stop lying to us, guys. Listen, you've been scammed. I'm sorry. Can you grow up and put your pants on and be a man? Because the reason I say that is because I don't get a lot of women attacking me. It's all you men. You guys act like cowards. Wake up, man.
Yeah. In the Bible, Ephesians 5:11, have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose them. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to expose the wicked lies. We're being lied to on so many different levels. So many different levels. It is astonishing that they've gotten away with this for so fucking long, and nobody gives a fuck. People say, why does it matter? Why does it matter? I have my iPhone, I have my apps, I have my TV. I can do whatever the fuck I want. I don't care. Who cares where the fuck I'm at? People are just so fucking blatant, you know, just... They will deny, you know? And right now, like, people in the chat room, we have Scott, again, talking this stupid shit. I mean, what are you, a fucking shill? Like, are you getting paid to fucking lie to yourself? I mean, because you're not lying to me. He's saying that's blatantly false. How? Prove me wrong. You're not fucking coming in here saying shit, dude. So, whatever. You know, we got a lot of good people. You know, Richie Gazzo, he's saying always enjoys the show. General Rose. You know, I'm doing what I can. You know, if people want to be asleep or pretending to be asleep, I'm not gonna sing you a lullaby, all right? I'm gonna put the truth in front of your face. I'm gonna slap you with it, actually. All right. So, closing up, I just want to say, again, in the Bible, it is quoted as the four corners repeatedly. Revelations, Numbers, Isaiah, Job, and so forth. You guys can look those up. Just type in flat earth, whatever. I'm going to end this with my friend Jerry Rose. I've not heard from him in a long time, and I think he's just a very beautiful human being. And I'd like to just show a little bit of what he has to say. So here we go.
Christ the righteous, and he is the propitiation for our sins, and not for ours only, but also for the sins of the whole world. And hereby we do know that we know him, if we keep his commandments. He that saith, I know him, and keepeth not his commandments, is a liar, and the truth is not in him. But whoso keepeth his word, in him verily is the love of God perfected. Hereby know we that we are in him. Alright. So, he is little children. This is my little children in particular. And in this book, he addresses 3 age groups. He addresses fathers, elders, he addresses young men, and he addresses you find that in the scriptures, particularly in the New Testament letters. Paul spoke directly to them. Here, it's very, very special because Brother John, by the Holy Ghost, addresses little children right here.
There we go.
And he says, my little children. And, that's how we should see our brethren, My brethren's wives are my sisters. Their mothers are my mothers.
Mm-hmm.
Their fathers are my fathers,
Mm-hmm.
Their children. Just in that way, In that way. Now, truly, my children are under my authority and my care. But that doesn't stop my brethren from loving my children as their children. Right? So, he is speaking to little children. And he has a particular message for us. And for us too. But why little children? Because these are the things that little children really need. Because they have their lives ahead of them. As they grow older, there is a great chance that they're going to sin. Not that they have to, not that it's guaranteed, but they're probably going to sin. And if any man sin, right, this is what he does. First off, he lets them know these things he's writing to them. Yeah, these things are written to little children also. Not just written to adults. It's written to little children too. He's telling them, these things write I unto you, that ye sin not. Little children who know the Lord, who believe on the gospel, who believe the gospel and believe on the Lord, they don't want to sin. They don't want to. Well, the fact is, they lack some knowledge. They not lack knowledge of the grace of God. They lack knowledge of His perfect will, what it is. They're not that wise into that which is good just yet. This is little children, But as they grow, and they're not that wise to that which is evil either. They're not very acquainted with the evil of the world just yet. But as they get older, they will be. They will be. And if that happens, he's just letting them know that we should know. If any man sin, we have an advocate with the Father, Jesus Christ, the righteous. And you notice how he's called him the righteous? It's because he is the only one.
Mm-hmm.
Little children know.
Amen. He is the only one. Again, you know, Jerry Rose is a very beautiful human being. You know, I hear him talk, and you know, I think that should be respected. Let me see. All right. Oh. All right. So, anyways, so I'm gonna wrap it up. I just wanted to do a quick video. Again, this is part 1. I'll be doing part 2. I just had a lot to say. I haven't done a video since the first of the award show. A lot of people got butt hurt over it. That was funny. You know, we all have to have a sense of humor. You know, if you got an award and it hurt your feelings, well, I apologize if it hurt your feelings, but I think at the end of the year, it's about having fun. And, you know, I got a couple awards. I didn't get all butt hurt. I didn't go posting about how, you know, how awful that person is for saying that. I think it's funny, you know. Anyways, yeah. So Prodigal, closing statement. I'm out of here.
Yeah. Basically, just don't go along. Don't just be herd-natured and go blindly along with the crowd, because it never ends up good for the crowd. Basically, this whole system, if you really wanted to stop and take a look, it all began in the 1800s with these deists who just basically wanted to overthrow the church. Because a lot of the deists, and all to their credit, and we'll go ahead and give the Illuminati this much. A lot of people saw the church as the Catholic Church, as being the church. And we know the Catholic Church is corrupt. We know that there's flaws in certain aspects of religion, but just there's no really difference in between the Catholic Church of yesterday and the science of today. Both sides use manipulation. Now it's just a scientism formula that they're going with today. The humanist agenda, you can go back and look all this stuff up. I'm not making it up off my head. And that's basically where we're at today. Just don't be a tool. You can question it. Don't be afraid to. We're doing it, and we're taking our chances and our risk of y'all coming over here and saying how we're crazy and we're nuts and we should be locked away. We'll go ahead and take that risk to be the first ones on record. And we're giving you a platform where you can do the same thing. All we're saying is you go and investigate it, find out yourself, and then maybe, hey, you're going to find out that maybe we're right. Yeah, I'll just leave it on that note.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. And in closing, I appreciate everyone watching. I love you all. God bless. Please stay strong and positive and stay in the truth. And the earth is flat. Don't deny the Creator. He's not denying you. All right? So, there you go. Love you guys. Bye.